The cafeteria fell silent. Trays froze midair, and whispers died on trembling lips. In that moment, the sound of a sharp slap echoed like thunder through the school. A girl named Aisha stood frozen, her cheeks stinging red, her eyes wide with shock. Everyone's eyes darted between her and the group of bullies who had just struck her in front of hundreds of students. Aisha wasn't the kind of girl who caused trouble. She was quiet, soft-spoken, and carried herself with dignity. She had transferred to this school only 2 months ago, still adjusting to the unfamiliar faces and whispers that followed her in the hallways. Her late father had always told her, "Strength isn't in the fists, Aisha. It's in the heart that refuses to bow." But at that moment, her heart pounded, and the sting on her face seemed to laugh at those words. The bullies, 3 girls notorious for picking on anyone different, smirked as if they had just won some grand prize. One of them sneered, "What's the matter, Aisha? No daddy to protect you now." That cut deeper than the slap. The cafeteria gasped, the cruelty of their words heavier than any physical blow. Aisha's first instinct was to run, but something inside her snapped. She remembered her mother's voice from the night before, reminding her that people who hurt others often carry wounds of their own. She stood there, trembling, but she did not cry. Instead, she picked up her tray, steadied herself, and said softly, "This was your mistake, not mine." Her voice, though quiet, carried across the room, stunning everyone into silence. The bullies laughed, brushing her off, but that moment sparked something unexpected. Instead of isolating Aisha further, the students began to notice her strength. One boy, Daniel, who had always kept his head down, stood up from his table. "Enough," he said, glaring at the bullies. "You don't get to treat people this way." Others, emboldened by his courage, slowly rose to their feet too. For the first time, the bullies realized they weren't feared, they were despised. Still, the days that followed were not easy for Aisha. The slap became the talk of the school. Some sympathized, but others whispered, mocking her as if she had invited humiliation. She walked through hallways lined with stairs, the echo of laughter behind her back. Yet she didn't crumble. She poured her energy into debate club, a passion she had long hidden. She practiced her speeches late into the night, channeling her pain into words that carried fire. Her biggest challenge came when the school announced the annual public speaking competition. The bullies, desperate to humiliate her again, also signed up. "We'll crush her in front of the whole town," they whispered. Aisha heard them, but instead of fear, she felt something new, resolve. On the day of the competition, the auditorium was packed. Aisha's hands trembled as she held her notes, her cheek tingling with the memory of that slap. When her name was called, she walked to TH. The sound was deafening. One slap, and the whole cafeteria froze. Students who were laughing a moment ago stopped mid-bite, eyes wide in disbelief. Aisha stood there, her cheek burning, her body trembling, but her soul unbroken. The bully, a girl named Vanessa, smirked with cruel satisfaction, her friends at her side. "What's wrong, new girl? Don't you know your place yet?" Her words were venom, dripping with arrogance. For weeks, they had teased Aisha about her clothes, her accent, her quietness. But today, they crossed the line. Aisha's eyes burned, not with tears, but with something deeper, hurt mixed with a rising strength. She wanted to scream, to run, to vanish. But her father's voice echoed in her heart, "The strongest person is the one who refuses to let hate change who they are." Slowly, she steadied her breathing. Instead of striking back, she whispered, "You'll regret this." The cafeteria erupted in whispers. The bullies laughed it off, but a shift had already begun. One boy, Daniel, stood up. He wasn't a fighter, but he was tired of watching cruelty go unchallenged. "Enough," he shouted. "We're not scared of you anymore." His words cracked the silence like lightning. Still, Aisha's challenges didn't end there. The slap became the headline of the school. Videos of the incident spread on social media, replayed, mocked, dissected. She walked through hallways where laughter trailed behind her like shadows. Her teachers looked at her with pity, not respect. Even the principal offered no comfort, simply saying, "Ignore them, it'll pass." But Aisha refused to be defined by humiliation. She poured her pain into something powerful, her words. Every night, while others scrolled through their phones, she practiced speeches in her mirror. She didn't just want to defend herself, she wanted to inspire others. When the public speaking competition was announced, she knew this was her chance. But the bullies signed up too, determined to break her on a bigger stage. "We'll finish what we started," Vanessa sneered. The weeks leading up to the competition were brutal. The bullies sabotaged Aisha's locker, spread rumors, even tore her notes in half. Doubt clawed at her, maybe she wasn't strong enough. But then Daniel and a few kind classmates began to help. They encouraged her, listened to her practice, and reminded her she wasn't alone. Slowly, her wounds turned into fuel. The day of the competition arrived. The auditorium buzzed with energy. Parents, teachers, and students filled the seats. The bullies delivered flashy speeches filled with arrogance, but the crowd remained lukewarm. When Aisha's name was called, her hands shook as she gripped the podium. She looked out, and there they were. The bullies, smirking. The students, waiting to see if she would break. The memory of the slap burned in her mind. But instead of fear, it gave her fire. She took a deep breath and began. "I was slapped in public. Humiliated in front of all of you. But today,